It's always a big moment when we get into winter forecast season. And Ken, what we're going to do is we're going to break this down region by region here for our viewing or listening audience here. So let's start off with maybe the area of the country that gets most emotional about snow. We'll say the I-95 corridor in the Northeast. I'll let you have at it, Ken.
Sure, and I say it's also season usually the most interesting too. A lot of variability year to year. Other parts of the country, a lot of times, especially in areas that snow frequently, the variability is less. Like in the Midwest and Plains, the snow floor and the snow ceiling are generally fairly accepted, and you end up in fairly typical ranges a lot. From a statistical standpoint, standard deviations of average snowfall are relatively low. On
Right.
the East Coast, however, it's a lot of, you either get it or you don't, and the extremes can be pretty extreme. This year, I think the folks that you go further south be the most interested, because especially, and you alluded to it earlier, you know, Atlantic City, Cape May, and even going out towards Philly, DC, Baltimore, it was a struggle to snow. And El Nino years, and I think this will be a good one, will keep a big subtropical jet stream, a powerful one, and a more important dominant one in play. So even if temperatures aren't all that cold at points, I do think that subtropical jet stream gets us at least a lot of players on the field. Will all those become snowstorms? Probably not. Statistics would say otherwise. Even when it snows a lot in Baltimore and DC and Virginia, you probably have a good number of rain events in there too. But I think that subtropical jet will mean business at points. I think early season might be a little touch and go. I'm not looking for like a shutout completely, but it'll be tough, especially the further south. Again, where you would expect, it's just hard for Baltimore to snow in December, no matter how favorable the pattern is. I think you go through the later weeks of January into February. I think that's where the temperatures and the busy jet stream are most favored to get you bigger storms there. A lot of our analog years had a lot of snow, varying degrees, but I hate to mention this too, but one of the analogs was 09 and 2010, and that was the Snowmageddon. So again, I wouldn't dare forecast that, but I think that kind of gives you an idea that the upper end is in play here. In fact, in the Mid-Atlantic, from our analogs, there's twice the likelihood of 6-inch plus events this year compared to a regular year. So just that alone, it only takes 1 or 2 events in the Mid-Atlantic to get you up to normal. Further north, it's closer to average. Again, remember, averages get significantly higher once you start getting up into like New York City and beyond. So I think the main storm track might end up being a little bit more Mid-Atlantic based than New England based. But New England will get in on it too. They're even going to try here a little bit in early to mid-November to get a little bit of snow. So we'll see how that goes, especially in the mountains. But again, not a shutout here by any stretch, even early in the season. I do think the best matching for cold and snow still does favor mid and late season, but more in line with what you'd ordinarily expect, maybe a little bit below. Again, nothing too crazy. But certainly, a lot more snow than what was had last year, because Boston was even below normal last year. I think just a hair over 20 inches. Maybe we'll get a little bit more better distribution, because it was only not too far away from Boston in those hills where it was like 80 plus. So there was really tight gradients up there. Hopefully a lot of that eases out, and we'll see a lot more consistent snowfall this season.